Right, so welcome to this evening's Junior Trailblazers. It's a taster session for you all to get an idea of what Junior Trailblazers is like, in case you maybe want to join me for the rest of the term. This is a session taken from the work that we did on flash fiction a few terms back. I hope that you'll enjoy it. Today, I suppose there's a bit more of a focus on technical writing and creative writing. And often we do a bit more language analysis and there's a bit more of a mix of different activities in the session. So if you were to come to Junior Trailblazers next or this term, there would be a bit more language analysis and critical evaluation as well included. But this is a great session and I thought it would be a great way to show you what Junior Trailblazers is like. So your mics are set to off, your videos are optional, you can have them on or off, and you can interact with each other in the chat box and maybe the breakout rooms. We may open up the breakout rooms, we will see. So what we're going to do today is look at flash fiction. We'll do a little warm up. I will introduce flash fiction to you. And then we will look at how we can write in a succinct way, and you will get a chance to plan your own flash fiction. So to warm up, I'd like you to write an extended simile about this image. You can pick any element of the image, part of it or as a whole. And an extended simile is when we say we have our simile, which is where we say something is like something else or is as something else. But an extended one goes a bit further and includes more description and more detail and sometimes more imagery and unusual vocabulary as well. So let's see what you can come up with. You can do it on your worksheet, you can do it in the chat box, or if you're doing the session with a sibling or an adult, you can discuss your simile. Hello, if you've just arrived, don't worry, we're just doing a simile warm-up before we get properly started looking at flash fiction. So if you have been writing your simile, do pop it in the chat box. I'd love to read what you've all come up with. I will show you mine. This is the one I came up with. Golden coruscations spun from within its pages like the magical whips of a cowboy wizard. Or I could say a wizarding cowboy, couldn't I? Coruscations are flashes, like flashes of light. Oscar, hello. Oscar says the blinding magical light was as shiny as moonlight reflecting on the river. Beautiful, very nice. As shiny as moonlight. I like the simile you've included there. Well done, Oscar. Would anybody else like to share their simile? Maya says the golden mythical light roared out of the pages like a roaring fire. That's nice. So comparing the light coming out as to a fire. Very good. Zeno says the book had a whirlwind that was as vibrant as a work of art. Very pleasant, very nice. Thank you, Zeno. Well, I hope everybody is sufficiently warmed up. Hello, Timothy. If you've just joined, we're just finishing up a little warm-up simile. We're about to get started on flash fiction. So, what is flash fiction? If you've heard of flash fiction before, you might have covered it in school. When I used to teach in a school, I used to do flash fiction with year eight. So you might have covered flash fiction before. If you haven't, what do you think it could be? Let me know in the chat box. You can just have a guess. Hello, latecomers. Don't worry, we are just getting started. So, flash fiction is a work of fiction. Oh, someone suggested in the chat box what they think it is. Yeah, Joshua says very short fiction. Yeah, it is short, but that's not all it is. Oscar says story that's based on non-fiction that has hints of fiction. Well, it's a fiction story, so I suppose you're right in that from that aspect, Oscar. Flash fiction is very short fiction, as Joshua says, but it still pays close attention to detail, characters, and narrative plot. Okay, all of those important features of a story are still there and still very well developed, but it's squidged down. And it is a work of art when you can write flash fiction well, because every single word in your writing counts. Now, we're going to do things a bit back to front today, because often your teachers will tell you to write more. But today I'm going to ask you to write less. But I don't want you to lose any meaning, and I want you to still improve the quality of the detail and the descriptions of your characters, of your narrative, of your ideas. So let's see how it works. Oh, first of all, I'd like to introduce you to some types of flash fiction. I think if anyone's got a quick eye, they might have already been able to match these up. So we've got flash fiction, which is our standard short, succinct fiction. We've got sudden fiction. We've got micro fiction, which is also known as a drabble. We've got twitterature. We have got the six-word story, and we've got mini sagas. And mini sagas are also known as dribbles. So we have dribbles and drabbles, and that's a mini saga and a microfiction. Now, you can probably start to match them up and have a really good guess. It will be guesswork, but you can deduce them. Once you get one, then two, then you can go from there. Zenor, that's really quick off the mark, and that's really good. Now, Barnaby, you've said twitterature could be D. If you look at twitterature, it's a play on words. It's Twitter and literature. So, like Twitter stories. And a Twitter post, I think you can write more these days. But originally, there was a maximum of 280 characters. So that's going to give you a very obvious hint as to which one is twitterature. Excellent, Zena. Well done. Well done, Maya. Once you've got six-word story and twitterature, then you can start having a go at matching some of the others. Okay, I'm going to give you some answers now. You've got this on your sheet, so you can match them up and have a little bit of fun and give yourself some ticks or crosses. Here we go. So flash fiction is a maximum of 1,500 words, which is interesting, really, because that's quite a lot. That's probably about 4 pages of A4 typed, approximately. Maybe three or four, depends. You normally get about 11 words per line per sentence. Sudden fiction is 750 words. Notice that this says max as well. So, if you're writing sudden fiction and it's 728 words, that's fine. It doesn't have to be exactly 750. It's a maximum of 750. A drabble is a maximum of 100. A dribble is exactly 50 words. So the word exactly is very important there because it is just 50 words. And twiterature and 6-word story are quite obvious there as well. So now that we've got that out of the way and we recognise that there are lots of different types of flash fiction, we are going to have a little bit of fun with it, see how it works, see if we can plan and prepare our own flash fiction. Now, a lot of the tasks that we're doing today, I've loosely based around The Lion King. I know you're all a bit old for Disney films, but I've chosen it because it's got quite a complex story and characters, and it's generally well known enough that you'll have an idea of the story. If I picked Harry Potter, maybe not all of you would have known it, or if I'd picked a fairy tale, there might not be the same depth of characters. So what we're going to do first is try to condense these really short sentences into even fewer words. We're going to try and say it in 3. Me too, Maya. So we've got snarling. They crept up on their little victims. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 words. Now we're going to try and squeeze that down to 3 words. Okay. Now, if you're thinking, well, how do we do just 3 words? Surely I'm going to lose lots of meaning. You need to think, what are the key words in this sentence? You don't have to necessarily keep the key words, but you need to think about what they are telling you so you don't lose meaning when you shorten your word count. So they're snarling, they're creeping, they've got a victim. I wonder. Let's see if you can say this in 3 words. You can pop it into the chat box and I will show you my idea in a moment. Excellent, Joshua. Very succinct. Well done, Maya. Maybe, Maya, instead of onto, you could put upon, crept upon victim. Very nice S. They started snarling. Very good, Oscar. Here we go. Snarling, they crept. I think someone else said something similar. Timothy, that's a really good one as well. So what I've tried to keep there is, so I've tried to keep the idea of them snarling because that is a bit of character development and it's action. It shows what they are like. And then the creeping part is part of the narrative, the plot. Okay, let's have another go. This time we have he gawped at the surprise at the mess the visitors had left. So first we'll have a look at it. What is the key information that's in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's 11 words. What can you come up with? Good, Maya. Well done. Now, this is quite a tricky one because there's lots of key information in this sentence, isn't there? Joshua, very good. He gawped, surprised. Very good, Timothy. Gawped in surprise. So a lot of variation of the words gawped and surprise. Or so Zeno said, gawped messy visitor. You could say gawped at visitor or gawped at mess. You can use different words though, and that's what I did. So I turned it into speech and have said, wow, they're mess. And that way I managed to get surprise. And if you're surprised, you might gawp. So those things kind of go hand in hand. You don't need to have both. There suggests it's someone else. It is the visitors. And I kept mess. Timothy, that's great. I love that. Shocked at carnage. And Laura, that's really good. Well done. Laura says, surprisingly messy visitors. What you've done there, Laura, is you've condensed all of that information into 3 words, and that is a skill that is incredibly useful for flash fiction, for succinct writing. Now, on your worksheet, you should have a storyboard. I'd like you to try and break down the story of The Lion King into 6 or 7 key points. If you don't know the story well, don't worry, I'm not going to test you. We just kind of want to get it into sections. Don't worry about how many words you use. No one's checking your work. And I think what we'll have in a moment is a breakout room so you can just check in with each other what you've got and that you do know the general outline of the story. If you've forgotten the story, don't worry. I'm going to open up a breakout room in a moment and you can go in and there'll be 3 or 4 other people and you can all just uh, help each other out. Okay, I'm going to open the breakout rooms now. If you know the story really well and you have already jotted it down into 6 or 7 points, a sentence or 2 in each square or an idea in each square, please do go into the breakout rooms because you'll be helping out everybody else. Okay, breakout rooms are open and we'll take about 2.5 minutes and then come back. We'll just wait for everybody to come back to the main room before we continue. And if you are stuck and you don't know the story of The Lion King, you can put any movie or book plotted out into 6 or 7 points. Okay, fabulous. That's everybody back from their breakout rooms. Now, what I want you to do with that breakdown of The Lion King is forget about it for a moment. And we will come back to it just before the end of the session. Okay, but first of all, what we're going to do is think about how we can reduce word count. Now, if you were to write the story of The Lion King, you would probably it would probably be hundreds and hundreds of words. Depending on the detail, you may go way past 1,000. But if you were trying to write a dribble or a drabble or Twitterature or a 6 word story even, you'd have to reduce your word count. How can you do that? How can you reduce word count? Do you have any ideas? Where would you start? What would you do? Okay, that's a really good idea, Maya. So using less adjectives, so less descriptions or smarter descriptions. Very good. Any other ideas? Merge sentences. S, that's a really good idea. Yeah, if you've got 2 or 3 sentences, you could pick out the key information in each sentence and merge those together. Very good. Very good, Barnaby. Clip out any unnecessary detail. Yeah, some of the things that happen in The Lion King might be important if you were writing 2,000 words, but might not be as important if you're only writing 50 words. So you pick out the most important bits. Well done. Very good. Good, Oscar. Well done. So we can look at different techniques and have a go at using them. So we're going to start with using telegraphic language. But always aiming to be grammatically correct. So telegraphic language is where you might take out smaller words or unnecessary words in a sentence that are almost like filler words, but still try to make sure that it's grammatically correct and it doesn't sort of feel like you've just chucked a few words down on the page. It still needs to be a grammatically accurate sentence. So we're going to start with this 11-word sentence. The lion cub would one day, in due course, become king. Now, if we're going to use telegraphic language, which is just keeping the most important words in the sentence, how could we reduce that and how few words could we get it down to? I'm going to let you guys have a go. And in the end, in a moment, I'll show you how many words I got it down to. You probably do better than I can. So take that sentence that's in pink and shorten it. Okay, that's good. Laura, one day Simba would be king. That's 6 words. Zenel says the lion cub is future king. Very good use of telegraphic language there. 6. Looks like we've got it down as low as 6. Joshua says Simba becomes king, but that's not what this sentence is saying. So you've got to try not to lose the meaning. So one day king would work better, but very good. Barnaby, very good. Cub will become king. Maya says the cub will be king. Let's see what I came up with. It was a while ago that I did this. So I got it down to six. The cub would inherit the crown. I changed the words altogether. Inherit, that word has got lots of meaning. It you can squeeze a lot of information into some words, can't you? Into some single words. Very good, Joshua. Very good, Timothy. Let's move on. So the next technique we're going to have a go at is using adverbs and adjectives to convey character development without having the long descriptions. Now, when you're reading a novel, a big chunky one, there'll be loads of great descriptions of the characters. If you're watching a film, there's lots of different information that is being sent to us through the television about their character and little interactions they have, and that helps us understand who they are and what their motives and their motivations are. But when we're writing flash fiction, we have to find clever ways of doing that. So you have to drop certain things like adverbs and adjectives into your short sentences to give the necessary information to the reader. Now we're going to start with Scar planned a terrible accident to kill the king and ensure Simba would be too scared to return. Really important plot wise. 18 words. Let's see how short we can get it without losing the meaning. Really good, Zeno. You didn't lose any meaning in that. Um, Try to still, maybe you could squeeze an extra word in there that will just tell us a bit more about what Scar is like or what Simba is like. You're all doing an excellent job at reducing the word count, but remember, we still need to have really good character development because flash fiction is not just short, it's short and lots of information, lots of quality, lots of descriptions in fewer words. So Zeno, that's great. Evil Scar plotted to kill the king and scare off Simba. So that word evil in there, that gives us some character development, and that's really good. It's one word, and yeah, it tells us what his character. Should we see what I got it down to? I feel like it was nine. Let's see. 12. Evil Scar plan Zeno, you and I are on the same page there. Evil Scar planned the king's untimely death and his terrified son's absence. Um, so I've completely rewritten it. I've used the word untimely. So he killed before his time, dying too young, murdered, and his terrified son's absence. So that tells us why Simba ran away. Okay, so we've reduced the word count there by 6 words, and we've still included lots of information about the characters by using adverbs and adjectives. Right, number 3, only keep key information. Let's get rid of all the gumph, all of the information we don't need. So Nala bounced forward, nudged Simba, and encouraged him to return to Pride Rock to take the throne that was rightfully his. So what we're trying to do specifically with this one is only keep the key information. So you need to look at those 21 words and think, what is the key information that the reader needs to get from this? And how can I take that and rephrase it into as fewer words as possible? Okay. Remember, you can use your own words. You don't need to use these words, but you need to keep the key information only. Excellent, Barnaby. Excellent, Maya. Really good what you've done there, both of you. Um, you've kept encouraged. You've kept, that he's returning, that she wants him to return to Pride Rock or to take his place as king. But you've left out all the other stuff about her bouncing forward and nudging Simba. We don't need that information in a very shortened flash fiction. Joshua's kept nudged, and there's not anything wrong with keeping that, Joshua, because that sort of sheds a little bit of light on Nala's playful side. So it's a bit of a balance, isn't it? I guess you need to think about what information you're trying to squeeze into how many words if you're writing the whole story. And when you write flash fiction, you redraft and redraft and redraft because you think, well, I haven't got enough development of Simba's character or Timon's character. Where can I squeeze in some character development without putting too many words in? Very good, guys. Well done. Okay, nine. I knew there was a nine in there somewhere. I changed it to Nala encouraged Simba to return and claim his throne. You can see there as well, grammatically accurate. Some of you didn't include his throne or the throne. You left out some words that made your sentences not sound entirely grammatically correct, even though they were fewer words. That's a really good one, Laura. Nala persuaded Simba to take the crown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. All the key information there and none of the gumph. Very well done. And Don, I like what you've done there. What Don has done is what I did at the start in the say it in 3 practice. Don has put go and reclaim the throne, Simba, in speech marks as something that Nala says. So a great way of doing it. Well done. Okay, and number 4, join sentences together. Somebody suggested that when we were sharing ideas, and you're absolutely right. So we've got, yes, it was US. Well done. Simba rolled over the grass giggling. Pumbaa and Timon looked at each other and laughed along too. So how can you bring those 2 sentences together? You might need to take out a word or add in a word. You might need to do a little bit of shifting around of the information there. It's 17 words at the moment. How can we reduce it without losing any meaning? Um, Joshua, I really like yours again, because you've taken the information and just rephrased it and reordered it, but you've still kept so much of the original meaning. So Joshua says, Pumbaa and Timon watched as Simba rolled over the grass giggling. I think that's pretty perfect, actually. So well done. Very good, Don. Very good, Zenor. Let's see what I came up with. 9. Simba's friends laughed as he rolled in the grass. So if we have Timon and Pumbaa, that's 3 words, but Simba's friends is just 2. So that's one, that's 1 word shaved away there. Okay, well done, all of you. So, what I'm going to ask you to do now is try and turn those 6 or 7 bullet points that you came up with at the start that you maybe clarified in the breakout rooms into a dribble. It says a dibble on the screen. It's a typo. It should say a dribble. And a dribble, also known as a mini saga, is exactly 50 words. So it needs to be exactly 50 words. You can use those 4 techniques that we just practiced, bringing sentences together, telegraphic language, trying to take out all of the unnecessary information, just using the occasional adverb to develop characters. I'm going to give you. We haven't got a lot of time because Advanced Trailblazers is straight after you. I'm going to give you 3 minutes in the first instance. Okay. So get going. I would suggest you do this one on paper because then you can cross out and add things a lot more easily than you can in the chat box. And Barnaby says didn't get enough detail on the story. Don't worry. See if you can write a story about a Lion King in exactly 50 words. Or, like I said, you can use any story, use a fairy tale that you know. Okay, we've had about 3 minutes. I'm not suggesting that 3 minutes is enough time to write out your 50 words. 50 words is about um 4 or 5 sentences. So you might have managed to squeeze it into that, you might not. I'm going to open up the breakout rooms so you can read what you've got so far, or you can just go and listen to what other people have come up with. Or if you prefer, you can stay in the main room and carry on trying to get your 4 or 5 sentences, your 50 words, all compressed together. Okay. You can use the mics in the breakout rooms, Joshua. Yes, that's fine. Okay, we'll just wait for the last few people to come back from the breakout rooms. We've got everybody back. We've got everybody back. Fantastic. Right. Well done, everybody. A big well done to Oscar, who got it down to 50 words in the chat box and did a really good job. Well done. The advice I would give Oscar, if you wanted to improve the quality of your flash fiction, and this goes for everybody that has managed to do 49, 50, 51 words, have a look at what you've written and think, is there a way that I can shorten this and free up some words and then use those words really effectively in my writing, those extra additional words that I can put in there? So, for example, Oscar, you could combine somehow your first two sentences, and that might free up 4 or 5 words. And then you could use those 4 or 5 words to develop the characters or something like that elsewhere in your 50 words. But you've done a brilliant job. Well done. I hope what you've all gleaned from this session is that in your writing, every single word counts. It matters. Words have meaning. And if you just write lots of them without any thought, it gets blurred. And sometimes you can write less and write better and write well if you really think about the meaning behind every word that you're writing and the usefulness of it. Okay. So that's it for this Junior Trailblazers taster session. Every week I do set an independent challenge off the back of the work that we do in the session. And for this taster session, I'd like to invite you to write a 50-word dribble, so your 50-word flash fiction version of your favourite book or movie. And like I said, think really carefully about how you can write a short story but not lose any meaning and still have depth of character and interesting plot within those 50 words. The very last thing to do before you leave is a quick self-assessment. So have a little think about how you found today's work. Was it easy, a good challenge, too difficult? And how much did you enjoy it? So for example, you might put A2 in the chat box, or you might put BC1 if you think you're between a B and a C. And once you've done that, then you are free to leave. And I hope that you'll come and join my Junior Trailblazers class. This term, we're looking at magic and the supernatural, and we'll be doing some language analysis and looking at some ghost stories and doing some creative writing as well. So you'd be very welcome to come and join me in that. Right. Well done to all of you. And I'm going to stop the recording now, and I hope to see you in one of my classes soon.